what is up, dude? And welcome back to another episode of the Yo 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 podcast with Martin and Hooter.
What's up, everybody? I want to welcome you to a special edition of the Yo 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 podcast. I'm sitting here with two COVID survivors who have come here to share their story today. We have Joey Medina and Hooter Moreno, who have both beat COVID at different times, and they're here to share just exactly what it was. Was it the bleach or the hydrochloroquine that cured you of such a... What's up, guys? It's good to have you here, Joey Medina. Thank you for joining us again.
You guys, man.
sorry for I'm not trying to make light of it, but both of you guys did beat COVID, and right before we started the episode, you guys were sharing some of your stories. Hooter just recently recovered. We took a couple of days, weeks off from the podcast just because you can't be in here spreading the Rona and things.
COVID and
both of you caught it while you were unvaccinated.
Yes.
And you're since then been vaccinated.
Definitely. I've been vaccinated, yeah, because I do not want to get it again, bro. It sucked. It was horrible.
Yeah.
It was the worst thing I ever felt.
The worst thing you've ever felt.
Yeah, and I've been sick before, and
you've lived a very long life with a lot of crazy shit that has happened, and if that's the worst thing you've ever felt, that says a lot.
Yeah, because it messes not just with you physically, your body, it messes with your mind. It screws you up. Like I was telling you, before we started, there was a moment where I fell asleep on my couch, and when I woke up, I didn't recognize anything. I didn't know. Not only did I not know where I was, there was a TV in front of me. I didn't know what that was. There was, plants and a table, and I didn't know what it was. It was almost like I went into another life, like another like dimension. And I'm looking around, looking at things I didn't recognize. But I remember thinking to myself, I should know what this is. And then for a quick second, I thought, did I die now? Am I dead? And I'm floating up. It was just really weird. And it only lasted for a few minutes. But
how high was your goddamn fever?
Just
at that
about
point?
to
it was
say
103. It was 103 degree fever. I had that for a while.
Yeah, that's because once you have a high fever like that, a lot of hallucinations and a lot of crazy stuff starts happening. The mind starts playing some crazy tricks on you, man. And obviously this isn't a special edition about Rona, but we've got a lot to talk about. You've got a new film that we're gonna get to, but I just thought it's pretty nuts because the more time that happens now, the more I know people that have caught this, and some people don't fare as well. I got a friend who is still on oxygen. I got a couple of friends who are still on oxygen. 30 days of COVID,
A friend who died of it.
I know people that have passed, so it's a freaking crazy goddamn thing. You're very vocal on your social media, which is why I feel that it's okay to bring this up with you. There's a lot of people that don't take a stand. You have some really strong political opinions as well as thoughts that you are very candid about,
right.
and you have no problem sharing them on your platforms, which is a lot of comics like to take the neutral ground and not use the platform for that. You don't shy away from that, and I wanted to touch a little bit about that. Just it's interesting because a lot of people have that fear of, I don't want to lose fans, I don't want to piss people off. You're like, hey man, I'm just out here speaking my
opinion.
truth.
Like for instance, people who disagree with me either politically or whatever, I never ever not follow them or block them. Nothing, unless you're disrespectful, then I'll do it. But otherwise, I don't mind. It to me, it's like, I like this team and you like that team, right? So that's the way I always see it. But for me, my social media, it's more me first than the comedian second. You know what I mean? Even though if I wasn't a comedian, I probably wouldn't have social media at all.
Sure.
Get away from it, right?
Of course.
But yeah, to me, it's my opinion, and I've never been political ever until the last president that we had before this one. And it wasn't that I was talking about politics. I was talking about the individual, And to me, my thing is, on that situation is, I don't care. Before he became president, I didn't give a shit what he did. He was an asshole. Everybody knew that. He was a piece of shit person. Everybody knew that. But I didn't care. It's none of my business. He could do whatever he wants. But I think once you become a president, then all the gloves are off. It's like people should hold the president to a certain standard. Now, all politicians are full of shit.
Correct. I was just about to say that.
All
I don't think
politicians are full of shit.
I don't think this is what do you call it? A unique
Right.
to the Trump administration.
I
Which
just
is what
thought he
we're
was a
talking about.
special piece of shit. He stuck out. Like, out of all the pieces of shit out there, all the liars out there, all the con men out there, he just stuck out. So that's all it was, you know. And as you notice now, I don't do anything political, really. I may talk about the vaccine because I think it's very important. And to me, that's a different situation. It's like I tell people, if I save one life, if one person says, you know what, man, all right, I'll listen to Joey and I'll get the vaccine, then I'm like, good for you. You know, and if they don't, that's okay too. There are people that can't get the vaccine because, you know, they have an immune situation. And I get it. I understand. I'm not a, you know, vaccine Nazi. If you can't get it, you can't get it. And if you don't want to get it, I think you should. But I'm not going to be like, oh, I hate you because you don't get it. I mean, you know, it is what it is. We're all grown-ups, right?
It's incredible how divided we are on something like the vaccine. And look, there's legitimate concerns for the vaccine that are valid. You know, that there's people that are saying, hey, the history of these vaccines and the shit that's happened. And, you know, Pfizer has settled multi-billion-dollar lawsuits for false advertising and for shit like that in the past. You know, everybody has a past. Everybody's done shit in the past. So the people that have these concerns, they're legitimate concerns. I have mentioned before that I am vaccinated. At being 50 plus. And not being the healthiest motherfucker out there, you know, I feel that for me, I think the risks outweigh the possible things that people say. But with that said, there's a lot of
benefits from the
correct.
vaccine.
Sure. Now there's valid concerns out there. I'm not just sitting here and saying everybody should go get it, and I'm telling you that it's going to be the right thing to do. I don't. There's definitely not enough information for me to say that now. Based on the information that I've seen, based on the things that I've seen, when I see people that have the vaccine that recover and don't get as severe as symptoms as everybody else, then for me, it's like, okay, it's a no-brainer for me at my age. Now, if I was 25, 100% healthy, not to say that 25-year-olds don't get this thing and it doesn't kill them, because it does happen. But if I was healthy and young, I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't be so quick to have gotten it, Joey.
Right. No, I hear you. And that is a common, a common thing people are saying. But now, because of the new the new variant, man, kids are getting more sick than anything. And it's actually 27 down, or age 27 down is the people who are getting more sick. So the thing is, and I'm like you, to me it's the odds. The odds are that if you get it, it'll help you. And if the odds are if you don't get it, the odds are you're gonna get really fucking sick. You know? And so I'd rather not get really fucking sick and rather get it. I got, after the second one, I had I was tired. I felt like the flu for like 24 hours. It went away. And it was all good. But I was nervous. I was scared. And because I had COVID
prior,
right after I got the first one, it was like the same week. So I don't know if the first one worked.
Wait. So you got the vaccine and then got COVID?
No. I think I actually had COVID before.
Okay.
But then I went to El Paso.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Bart. And when I came back, I had a little cough. But I just thought it was like just dry. I didn't think it was much. And like next day, I went. I got my shot because I had it scheduled. And then the next day, my girlfriend got a test because she had to go to the doctor for something else, and they had to give her a test first, and she was positive. And I'm like, oh, fuck, I gave it to her. So I got tested, and yep, I had it.
Oh, dude.
And it was like, the same week, I realized I got it the same week I got my first one. So I didn't know about if it was dangerous to get the second one right after. I waited. I did so much research. I looked and did it.
Yeah, that's what a mind fuck that must have
I
been.
know. I haven't even heard of that happening to someone.
So I'm like, did it make it worse? Did it help me? Did it not help me? Is the second one going to count? Should I wait for the second one? Because like my girlfriend got the antibodies. They the monoclonal or whatever antibodies. They treated her with that, so she didn't get as sick as I did. But I couldn't get that because I don't have good insurance. But yeah. So anyway, I waited. When I got better, I just did a lot of research. I waited a little longer than they said. And then I got my second one, and it was fine, you know.
it's a fucking crazy time, dude. I don't know, you know, like I said, you're right. These variants, these kids are back in school, you know, take off the mask, put on the mask, do this, do that. There's so much information coming fast and furious that it's a bitch. You know, at the end of the day, though, people are getting it. It's a scary fucking thing. The people that are just out there flat out saying, fuck it, it's a hoax, that to me is an extreme point of view. You're entitled to your opinion, right. But goddamn, that's a very elaborate hoax for people to be in on
around the world,
dude. Around the world, motherfuckers that just said, "Hey, man, this is what we're sticking to this story." You fuck.
5 million people are hiding somewhere right now. Going, they think we're dead.
Don't crack. Do not break, bro.
The first one that breaks fucking on
you motherfuckers.
No, man. You know what? It didn't feel like just so I want your people to know it didn't feel like a flu. It didn't feel like a cold. It felt like, to me, it felt like death. Like I knew something was different. Like it didn't feel like I've been sick before.
Sure.
And maybe I've been sicker. I don't know. I remember one time, I forgot what it was. Maybe a stomach virus or bad food poisoning. I was throwing up and I was really sick. And that's probably the other time. But that went away. And this didn't, man. It just, you see things different. Everything feels weird. You're tired. You have no energy. And maybe it was me paranoid, but every day I'm thinking, is this the last day? Am I going to die tomorrow? Am I going to die tomorrow? Am I going to die tomorrow? I kept on thinking that.
I got a really bad flu many years ago. Remember, when did the Nina move out of that apartment on Gulf?
Ooh,
they were still there. They were still there, and that computer was in that room, and they had taken off to go to, it was around the holidays. They had taken off to go to Angelica's, and I stayed behind. And I remember
90-something still, no?
What's that?
Late 90s?
Something like that. And that's probably one of the worst sicks. And I've been sick. I've had like bacterial, like Campylobacter, like, you know, from eating bad fish and things like that. Like I've had really, really bad, but this flu, I could not move. I could not get out of bed. I had a fever. My entire body hurt. My entire body just ached. Right. I felt like I was going to die.
Dude, you probably had COVID. Or some type of COVID.
Or some type of COVID, yeah. And this was many, many years ago. And it was like horrible. I have not had a flu since then. But I can't imagine having, and it lasted for a couple of days. I cannot imagine having something like that would last for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. There's people that are hospitalized for 30 fucking days, you know? And you almost feel like you're dying. Like it's scary to be that sick, you know? And then you hear the news about all these people that do die, and you're just like, fuck me, you know? So look, and this is not a vaccine show, it's not something like that. It's just conversations with people that have lived it, that you've had it. You know, I think the people that have all these opinions that have never experienced anything like it or gotten a shot, shut the fuck up. You don't know. Yeah, you don't know.
You just know what you hear, you see. And you know, the funny thing is, you know how we all like have probably know maybe at least 3 people in our lives that if the purge happened, we were like, oh, I'm going to kill this motherfucker, right? Well, when I had COVID, I thought to myself, all those people, not even all, there's maybe 3 that I hate like that much. I go, I hope they never get it. That's how bad it was.
God damn.
But I would still kill them during the purge.
During the purge. Well, during the purge, se vale. It's a different thing. So we just, listen, we got out of a goddamn long-ass lockdown, Joey. You look like you've lost some weight. You look like
thank
you've
you,
been
man. COVID, that's the good thing that came out of COVID. I lost a lot of weight. Actually, I lost way more than I am now. I had a neck. No. You know, it was all good. I'm like, God damn, I look good, right? So I'm lighter than I was before COVID. But I wish I would have kept that COVID. But I didn't eat, man, for like 3 weeks.
I lost 10 pounds on that COVID diet, bro.
There you go.
God damn. That's Now, how did you deal with the lockdown, bro? What'd you do? How'd you keep yourself busy? How'd you keep your mental health?
Not too much, man. I just stayed home. I tried writing. I started working on a script I've been wanting to write for years, which is fucking hilarious. I can't wait to do it, and I'll tell you more about it later. And but I would right before quarantine happened, I was going to shoot this short film called Philly Delight. It was about a drag queen.
You came on here. We talked about it.
Well, yeah, and then COVID happened. I'm like, I can't do this. I can't. It's too many moving parts.
Sure.
Right. Too many people. Too many location. So I decided. I want to shoot something. I still want to shoot something. So I wrote a script that was just 2 actors and 1 location. And I'm like, okay, I'll shoot this. So I made sure everybody was tested. Made sure everybody not tested. Yeah, but tested. Made sure everybody was clean. And then
was it a porn?
Yeah. It was the world's worst gangbang. There's only 3 people. Yeah, I didn't call it a threesome because a gangbang sells better.
Oh, that 100%.
It's more titles, better titles.
Clickbait.
Yeah. No. So I thought of this thing. I thought of this. I had this idea about something. Well, I'll tell you what the idea happened. A long time ago, right? Many years ago, I was going through this really dark period, man, where I wasn't planning to commit suicide, but I was looking at it like admiring it, and then I had life insurance during that time, and I'm thinking, if I kill myself, my family's gonna get my life insurance. So how could I die? So I was just like spitballing in my head, right? And then one day I'm pumping gas, and I was like in Compton or something. I don't know what the hell I was. And I'm looking around, like I saw I don't know, they were drug dealers or gangbangs, and I'm like, I bet you if I went up to them and said something or hit one, they would just kill me. And then my family gets the thing. I just thought that in my head, right? And then I go, well, but what if they don't have a gun? Then I started thinking all these other thoughts, right? And then my gas finished. I'm like, fuck it, right? And I just left it. And then I got back in my car and I walked away.
But luckily, I only needed half a tank. If I stay there a little longer, who knows what happens?
If I would have been driving a truck, dead.
I would have wrote the script during that time. So then, that always stayed in my mind. That period, because I'm like, man, that was fucking probably the closest I've ever, thought about really killing myself was that day. And
my God, Joey.
I know, it's weird, right? So I mean, like I said, I was wanting to kill myself, but I was in a real dark place. So anyway, during COVID, I was thinking, all right, I want to write something with a short amount, just maybe 2 people, 1 location, And then I thought about that time, and I go, what if I write a story about a man who wants to die so his family can get the life insurance? So I made my character. There's a character in the film that's terminally ill. The movie is called Beautiful Violence, by the way, and we'll talk a little more about it. But he finds out he's terminally ill. He doesn't tell his family. He hires somebody to kill him, and the guy never shows up. So he's driving around L.A., he's downtown L.A., he's looking, all the places. He drives by an alley, and he sees like a drug deal going by. And he thinks, and he parks his car, goes in there, and starts fucking with the drug dealer. And then, drug dealer could kill him, but instead, they really get to know each other. It becomes like a really deep story. It's pretty cool. And yeah, and then that's it. So I decided to shoot that, and we did it with 2 other comedians, Bill Dawes, and who plays the white guy, and Eric Blake plays the other character, the black guy, and it worked great, man. I loved it.
Was the black guy the drug dealer?
Of course.
You toxic son of a bitch.
Well, the thing is, I had to make it look realistic. So
that's not 2021, Joey.
I know, I'm sorry, but I'm old school. But but the beautiful thing, like the tag.
Here's the beautiful thing about the stereotypical drug dealer.
The tagline in this movie is called "Life Isn't Always Black and White," because what you think is, what you like, because really the white character is really the bad guy in this, not the black guy, and so it's really you get to know both of them, and you're like, oh, okay, he's doing what he has to do for his family. This guy's doing what he has to do for his family. You know what I mean? The drug dealer has a son who's cerebral palsy that he's raising. There's this deep story, and you're like, oh, okay. You get to feel for both of them, and like I said, shooting it was a little more difficult than I thought, because there was a lot of makeup involved and stuff, and then I had to find an alley that wasn't an alley. But all that looked great, and right now we won. Eric Blake actually won in one film festival already, Best Actor.
Wow, that's fucking awesome.
That's
So
sweet.
and I love that they're both comedians and I'm a comedian, and we made this heavy dramatic piece.
That wasn't funny.
Yeah, that wasn't funny at all. It was 3 comics, and to me, I like that. To me, that's a big thing.
I mean, listen, some of the Robin Williams, great comedian, was a great dramatic actor, amazing dramatic actor.
And I think, generally speaking, obviously everybody's different, right? Generally speaking, I think comedians make excellent dramatic actors. Because for me, like when I go to an audition and I'm doing a comedy thing, it throws me off because I'm doing someone else's comedy, someone else's timing, someone else's character. You know what I mean? I know how to be funny like Joey Medina. I don't know how to be funny like Bob, right? Or whatever. Mm-hmm. But something dramatic, I'm like, I've been through drama. Shit, I've been married 3 times. You know what I mean? I know drama. So, so I know I can act drama. Like I did a movie one time in Mexico, and it didn't call for it, but my character, I started crying. And I'm like in the back of my mind going, this is fucking dope. I hope they get this take, because I don't know if I can do this again, you know? And I'm like, and I just started feeling it. And I felt, and I get it. And it's, so I think comedians know how to be dramatic and know how to express themselves on the screen a lot better for drama. Because it's easy to be funny, I think, for us, right? With comics, right? It's easy to be funny. But it's to be dramatic is not easy. So to do it, I think it's a really pretty thing to look at for me as a director. You know what I mean? I'm gonna not switch gears, but touch on something that you just said, dude. I've known you now since 2000, I think, is when I met you, in the year 2000. So 21 years. 21 years. It's a long time. And during that time, you've the stuff that you've done, we've talked about it, I think, in the past. I mean, you've directed, you've acted, you've done comedy, you were part of the freaking Latin Kings of Comedy, which is a huge goddamn badge right there, right? And throughout that whole time, the one constant with Joey Medina is that you are a filmmaker. You're a legitimate filmmaker. You've been. I don't know how many film festivals you've been a part of, but it's been many. And you're constantly creating this content. You're directing, you're writing, you're shooting, you're acting. It's almost like when I met you, that you were like, and to this day you're still a great comic. But when I met you, you were like the great Joey Medina. Like your name was like huge in the game. There was, at that time, you could count all the Latino comics in one sheet of paper. Yeah, there were
and
many.
So with that now the landscape is the doors have been busted wide open, and there's 300 motherfuckers that started yesterday. Right. You know what I mean?
It's
which is
odd
fantastic.
now when you see a Latino comic doing Latin material. It's like,
yeah.
Before, that's all we did, because that was what we had to do.
Yeah, we everybody was Paul Rodriguez. Everybody was trying to be Paul Rodriguez, right? And or George Lopez. And to this day, there's people that say, "Mira." They're still doing George's accent. It's like, let it go. George did it. Fucking find your own goddamn voice, right? But the one constant that I can say is that just like you had all those accolades as a comedian, now in the writing and the filmmaking thing, you've acquired enough credits and clout, as much as you did at the time with comedy, where a lot of guys now that are comics that have been doing it for a while are starting to produce, are starting to direct, are starting to act, are starting to do that. You've been doing that since day fucking one.
Yeah, and I love it, man. And the thing is, in the beginning, one of the hardest things was, because I was a comedian and a well-known comedian, nobody was taking me serious, right? Nobody was taking me serious. And I remember people, not telling me that, but I could hear it in their voice, right? So that's when I decided, I go, okay, I need to do something that's completely opposite of comedy. And I decided to write a horror movie. But I go, it's not going to be a boo, fuck somebody popping out of the fucking, I go, I want something that makes people go, like, their jaws drop, right? So I decided,
Eric Blake's going to die in the first 5 minutes.
So I wrote a movie called Missing. And this movie was all black and white except blood. The blood was the only thing in color.
It was a short film.
Yeah, it was a short film.
I saw it.
And it was really bloody and like everybody watches it with their mouth dry. And Woody Barcena, a good friend of ours, I remember when he watched it, he looked at me like, hey bro, you must have been in a bad place when you made this movie, bro. I'm like, no, I just want to do something that wasn't fucking comedy, right?
Hey, it was dark for you right there, huh, bro? Hey, what was it like? Were you like fucking?
What happened?
Hey, what happened, bro?
Exactly.
What happened to you, bro?
That's him. That was really. And so I won for that film. I won a bunch of awards. Best director, I won best screenplay at a film festival, best director at a film festival, and then it was nominated for a whole bunch of other shit. You know, best special effects, and I did the special effects in it, and I did and it was for a whole bunch of other things. Best acting for the guy who played the actor, and it's funny because the actor on it was a horrible actor, and when I auditioned him, I was really disappointed watching him going, oh, this fucking guy sucks. And then I'm watching, and I go, there's something about it. So when he walked away, I started thinking, I'm like, I love it. Because I go, he's so awkward on camera that I want that character to be that way. So I called him up, and it's another comic, Ron Swallow. And I called him up, and I said, hey, do you want to play the part? He goes, oh, I thought I sucked. I go, oh, you did, bro. You did suck. I go, but it's going to work. Trust me. I'm just going to direct you the right way.
That's fucking brutal.
Keep sucking.
No,
You're going to go in on my movie,
but
but
he sucked
keep
the right
sucking.
way. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard to explain, but he sucked in the right way.
The way that you sucked. Holy shit.
He starts getting better. Whoa.
Whoa. Did you take acting lessons?
Listen,
You fuck.
son of a
Stop it.
When
Start
he was
going
nominated-
backwards.
When he was nominated for Best Actor, to me, I thought that was also a Best Director award. Because I'm like, that was me, man. That was me.
I helped you channel your shitty acting, you
I
fuck.
quarterbacked this shitty fuck, dude.
Right. So, but you know, he killed it. He did literally, and he did a great job. And that film too, I practiced my cinematography. I did everything.
Yeah.
Like, nobody got paid. I did it with no money. I did my cinematography. I did the makeup. I did everything. And the actors worked really hard. I think we shot it in 3 days. One day was a 16-hour day. We were long. There's special effects where someone gets hit by a car. You know, so we did all of that, and it was fun, man. It was really fun.
You know, when you just said right now, nobody got paid. You know, there's a lot of people that think, oh, you're on TV, you must be getting fucking a killing for doing this or for doing that. There's a lot of labors of love out there, a lot of passion projects where
Especially in
people
this
are
business,
like,
yeah.
You know, when I first started doing comedy, I would drive, you know, for fucking ever to get to a spot to do a fucking 5-minute, 10-minute guest set, right?
Right.
Where you're not getting paid, but you're doing it because you love it. And then something happens along the way where people are like, well, how much does it pay? Well, how much is this? Or how much is that? How much am I making? And at that point, it becomes about the money and about the job. When you can keep on, I always say that comedy is the one constant in my life. I did a lot of things before I started doing comedy, but comedy is the one thing that I don't call in sick for. I'll do it whether I'm getting paid or not, and I'm fucking loving every second of it. It's in my fucking blood, and all these, you know, it's a labor of love when you get together with people that just say, let's just create something, let's make something happen, and it just doesn't happen at the level where people are starting out or where they've gotten some credits. There's some very successful actors, actresses, directors that still sign up when they see something. They're like, holy shit, I believe in this. This is great. And when you meet those people and everybody's working together and there's no egos and there's no nothing like that, that is when you really create art.
Yeah, Craig Robinson, who we know well, wanted to play
from The Office.
Wanted to play the character that Eric played, but he couldn't because of work. But he wanted to play it, and he wouldn't have been paid, right? And but it's like that. And like my thing is, when I look, I always find out, hey, you want to do the show in Lancaster? You want to go blah blah blah? I'm like, yeah, who's on the show? And they'll say the name. I'm like, yeah, I want to hang out with them. I want to if you guys are on the show, I'm like, I'll go because I want to work. I want to hang out with you guys. Fuck the work. I mean, that's the easy part.
A few weeks ago, Jack Jr. called me from the Ha and he says, hey man, I'm putting together a lineup. Are you available on such and such date? I said, I'm available. I didn't even know who was on the lineup, right? And then I see the flyer, and it's like, holy shit, like all these dudes, like Gilbert Esquivel was there.
Oh, yeah, I remember. I did the second show of that, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw you
Yeah.
did, and when you're there, you're like, man, all these dudes that I haven't seen. And so yeah, that's when I saw you last. I was there, and I was like, all these dudes that you know you've known for 20 goddamn years, 20 plus years, and they're all there, and all there's nobody in there like with an ego, with a this, with a that. And it was just good to see, especially after the lockdown.
Yes.
It was to see everybody out there, and that audience was hot that night. That audience was just so like, they're happy to be out. They're excited to be out. They're drinking, they're laughing, they're having a good time. And that was such a good fucking time, dude.
Yeah,
that to see everybody out there like that.
It felt not like a party, but it felt like we went over to someone's house.
And it also felt like back in the day where you would just show up and nobody gave a fuck. It was like nobody, like now you can't get a lot of people to show up in a lot of places. People have gotten to, and rightfully so sometimes, they don't want to cannibalize the market or whatever, but it was good to see everybody out there that day, and again, more passion, more labors of love. It's like people just are doing it because they love it. And when you go out there and you're still seeing that, it feels fucking good, man.
Yeah. And that's what I do. Like, it's so funny. Some people in the film industry will think, well, if you're doing a project and no one's getting paid, or you're not paying well, or you're not paying minimum wage, you're paying this, you're taking advantage. I'm like, no, let me tell you something. If anything, they're taking advantage of me because they're learning on my dime. If they fuck up, I fuck up. They don't fuck up, right? So I'm the one spending money on the food. I'm the one spending money on editing. I'm the one who bought the equipment. I'm the one that's doing all this. I'm the one that sat down there for hours writing. I'm the one, if anyone's getting exploited, it's me, but I'm okay with that, right? Because I want them to learn. Like, for instance, when I pay, luckily I feel like everyone got, the only ones that didn't get paid on this last film were the actors, but the whole crew got paid. But like, my thing is, if someone's going to help, like as a PA for free or something, I always go, what do you want to be? I want to be a director. I want to be a sound guy. I want to be an editor. So I usually put them with that person. And my guys, my professional people that I work with, they know when they have a new cat working with them, I go, just don't tell them what to do. Teach them how to do it. Because that way they learn. When they walk off the set, not only did they hopefully have a good experience, but they learn shit, right? And everybody who's worked with me has always worked with me again. Always. And that's a good sign in this business, right? Because once you work with somebody you don't like them, you're like, I don't want to work there anymore. I always make sure everybody is treated right. I always make sure everybody gets treated with respect, that we have a good time, and it's a team effort. I never yell, and I never scream at anybody. Sometimes I want to, but my thing is just to get the best response and make this thing happen. Because if I think there's going to be a bad vibe with somebody, I won't have them. I just won't have them. I'll get somebody else.
Dude, been in this too long to just put up with bullshit. There's just like there's people that are willing to go out there for the love of it. There's a lot of motherfuckers who are just difficult. That you're just like, you know what? You're not worth the fucking. You're talented, but you're not that goddamn talented. Right. Get the fuck out of here. Kick rocks, you bitch.
Yeah, and it's not. And and everybody's gonna have a bad day. There's people gonna be grumpy. There's people not gonna feel right, or some people are real touchy about certain things, and you just gotta just live with it and figure out how to work with it. But it's but it is what it is. I think beautiful violence, which I really am really proud of this film. Even though the one I did, The Lesson, before that was really, really good. This one I just think it's gonna have really good legs, because on the plane I went to Florida a couple weeks ago, and on the plane I watched a short film that was nominated for Oscar.
Oh wow!
So I'm like, I want to check out this film, and I'm watching this film going, that's like my kind. I'm like, I could have fucking done that. I literally could have done this film. Not that it was easy or anything. It was my style, my vibe, and I'm like, I could have fucking made this movie. So I went home and I did fucking research. I followed the guy on Instagram, the director, and I entered every festival that he was in. And there's a lot of festivals that...
I love that you do your homework like that.
Because you got to. But there's a lot of festivals, people don't know this, that they're called Oscar, they're Academy Award qualifiers. So if you enter them and you win, you can be nominated for an Academy Award.
How expensive is it to enter your project?
Bro, I'm fucking literally broke right now.
Okay.
It's, because they tend to go, average is probably about $40. Some are 10, some are 70. There's probably some that are more. And then it's all strategic. You have to figure out what festivals to play to enter and for what reason, right? So some you have to fly there and go there and work there. Some you have to transfer your film into what's called a DCP, which is a special hard drive that plays in theaters, and that's like another $150 for that. They charge you per minute. So if you have a feature, you're fucked. And so it's just all of that. So I've entered in over 100 film festivals. Wow. And and it's like, and then there's no guarantee you're gonna go in. You look in the thing and sorry, you're not selected. Sorry, you're not selected. You're like, oh, this sucks. Sorry, you're not selected. But luckily, on this one, I'm getting more selections than nuts. But you just even whether they showcase it or not, you still have to pay to submit. Yes.
Wow.
Oh, you have to pay just so that they could watch it, so that they could see yes or no.
Yeah. And then the big thing is you want to win something. Even some film festivals are small festivals where a win is not that big of a thing, but it is a big thing for the film.
Sure.
Like the festival that we won Best Actor is the Venice Shorts Film Festival. It's a small festival, and because of COVID, it's just virtual. But we won, so that's still a win. And and when you watch movies or when you look at the posters and you see all the laurels on there, all the thing is selection, winner. It makes people think, okay, this isn't a piece of shit film. It's probably a good film. I'm gonna watch it, and that's kind of what you got to do.
It's kind of like the equivalent of Yelp reviews.
Yeah, sort of. And not only that, there's ways to get a lot of people don't review short films, but some people do. And sometimes you have to pay for those reviews, and there's no guarantee they're gonna like the film, but at least it's a place where someone can say something good. Like John Kelly, he was on Access, not Access Hollywood, was it Extra? I think he was on Extra, and he gave me a review, and he loved the film, and he's so articulate, and I love it. And but then there's other reviews I'm waiting to come in from magazines and some other stuff, and there's a lot of work. There's more work, and sometimes it costs more after everything's done.
Post.
Post. And that's just not, but like I did coloring. I had to do coloring for it. I had to do a whole bunch of re-editing. We had to do a lot of stuff, and now all the money I'm spending on the festivals and everything is just it's a pain in the ass. And the first live showing is going to be on September 13th at 6 p.m. Pasadena. You can see it. It's at the Lamley Theater, and it's at 6 p.m. on Monday. It's a Monday, but they show the way film festivals work is they call them blocks. So it'll be like we're in the 18th blocks. So they'll show a group of short films. So it'll be, like a 2-hour screening. They'll show all the films, and then there's a question and answer afterwards. And, we're going to be there. The crew's going to be there. Everybody's going to be there. And, and it's going to be great. And then hopefully we'll go from a bunch of other ones. I have some New York ones. There's Chelsea. I got into the Chelsea Film Festival, which is one of the top 10 in the country.
Wow.
Whoa. It's actually number 6. It was voted number 6 by USA Today. And I got in there, and that was a big thing. And I got in there. I submitted like 2 days before the deadline. So I'm thinking I'm probably not going to get it. They probably already picked their films. I would love to go to New York. And 2 days later, they go, hey, congratulations. I'm like, yeah, nice. So that's a good thing. Things like that always I take them as good signs.
You've been doing short film you did a full feature when I met you. You did fucking No Matador, right? Which is a legitimate full, and the talent that you have in that goddamn movie is incredible, bro. I mean, dudes that are superstars today, right? And since then, you've done a ton of projects. There's probably a special place in your heart. Was that your first one, No Matador?
Yeah, it was my first feature and then my first thing I ever really directed.
And you shot on film.
Yeah, we shot that on film, 16 millimeter film.
Yeah, expensive as fuck.
Yes.
And so you did that. That's your first one, and of course that's going to be near and dear to your heart because it's the first one.
Right.
Since then, would you say that this new movie that you've got out, this new short, is this your favorite project that you've done? Which one's your favorite that you can say, man, this is my Madonna, when you create that art, that piece of art, when you've crafted a joke and you're like, God damn, that's a closer and it just kills, and what am I going to write after this? Like, have you had that moment with your films?
Yes. Each one is different. It's like, one kid is good at basketball, the other kid is really smart, the other kid is whatever, licks windows. You know what I mean? Every kid is different.
Licks windows.
So it's like, this one is because of the challenges I had making it. The one before it, which was
Missing.
No. The lesson was really good.
The lesson.
But I would have the one I wrote that I didn't get to shoot yet, Philly Delight, I think was going to be that, which I'm still going to shoot eventually. But I would have to say Man of a Funny Age, which was the sitcom pilot I did.
Russell Peters was in that.
He was in that. And George Gray from The Price is Right is in it. And I did another sitcom after that for Adam Hunter, which that won best series, comedic series or whatever. So I won another award with that one. But mine was, I think, special because I was in it. I acted in it. I wrote it. I directed it. I edited it.
Man of a Certain Age.
Yeah, Man of a Funny Age.
Man of a Funny Age.
And I did all the jobs in it. And so I did that. And because I did it with very little money compared to what a real sitcom is made with, and it turned out as well as it did, it actually got me a job on the game show, producing the game show, even though it didn't get me the job I wanted to get, but it got me that job. I'd probably say I'm really proud of that one, because every time I look at it, I go, that's fucking good. Like, that's really good, you know? And especially with no money, hardly. I had money, but it was nothing compared to what a real, because when I sent that to a producer who hired me to do the game show, he said, he goes, what was your budget on that? It was like $200,000. I'm like, motherfucker, I spent $4,000 on this. Like, he goes, what? He goes, that's how you're going to sell it. And then that's when he offered me the job. So,
wow. Kind of like was Rodriguez, right, with El Mariachi?
Yeah. He made his film for $7,000.
Was it 7? Yeah,
Yeah,
I always thought it was 10, but yeah, 7.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, it's always like I made this last film. Technically, I made it. I shot it for $1,000. I put another $1,000 in post, and not including all the free work. Like, for instance, I spent $1,000 in post, but I got maybe $15,000 worth of talent.
Tell me the name of the game. Beautiful
Violence.
Beautiful Violence.
Yeah, and you can't find it online. It won't be online until after all the festivals are done. So, but if you're in the LA area, please, on Monday the 13th at 6 p.m. It's the Lamley Theater in Pasadena, the Lamley 7. Come check it out. You get the tickets online, and it's always first come, first serve for those things.
Sure.
And because it's a festival, everybody's film they're going to have their friends and family there. It's going to always get packed. And but it'll be fun, man. It's a good little film. It's a lot of people get different things from it, which is good. I like that, because I hate movies that are right on the nose. You know what I mean? I like movies that make you think a little bit and make you feel something. So that's the kind of stuff that I write. And so we'll see what happens. But I'm really proud of it. I am proud of this film.
How far did you get with Philly Delight before you had to pull the plug on it?
Well, I didn't raise as much money as I wanted to. So I was figuring out how to keep raising more money for it. So I was thinking, okay, how could I make it a little cheaper? How could I do this? How could I do that? I was still looking for the right actor for it, because that was really important. I found a guy who was really good. He didn't physically fit the role, but his performance was amazing. And then I'm the kind of person that's like, you know, I'll figure it out. I'll make it happen one way or another. I'm like, if I have to sell my fucking car, I'm going to make this movie. And I really thought that. That was like one of the things. I'm like, okay, I got to do this, you know, I'll take fucking Uber for a while, right? And so I got another car. And then, but it didn't happen. Then COVID happened. And I'm like, all right. So my next project, you know, unless somebody gives me a project to do, my next project will probably still be Philly Delight. Because the Philly Delight's going to be the script is amazing. I love this. Like, I cried when I wrote that fucking script. Not the whole script, but like there was a scene in the script that when I was writing it, I was crying. And people like, because I was doing it in the office at the game show, and another guy in the office goes, dude, you're all right? I'm like, yeah, man, it's just fucking sad, man. this scene is just so sad.
You are pussy, my friend.
Because when I write, I don't know what I'm writing. Like, I like, you know, I don't go, okay, I'm going to say this, I'm going to say this, I'm going to say this. I just put myself there, and I become that character, and that's how I write. So I write in their voice. So a lot of times when I'm writing shit, I'm hearing it at the exact same time as I'm writing it for the first time, which is kind of weird. But everybody has their own process, you know.
Does that make it hard as hell when you're going through, what's it called? Casting?
No, in casting, it's funny because sometimes you know exactly what you want. Other times you don't. And those are the scary times. But every time, thank God, when I told myself, I'll know it when I see it, which is kind of dangerous to do, when the person comes in, I'm like, yep, that's it. That's what I was missing. It was like again with that missing, right? It was Ron Swallow. I never met him before. I was doing a gig at John Lovett's, and he's on stage, and he's like this goofy looking dude, and now he's all handsome. He did something to himself. He looks great now, right? But but he collects comic books and does all that shit, and I'm like, man, I like that look. I go, because I didn't know exactly what I was looking for, and I go, I like that look. So I was hoping he can act, and then when I auditioned him, he couldn't. But then that ended up being good, right? So to kind of just know as you go, it's like, it's almost kind of like making jokes up on set, on stage. It's like, you got to use your experience and go, oh fuck, that was great. Like we laughed because we just made up on stage, and we're like, oh my god, that shit was hilarious.
And then you're like, oh shit, you keep it.
Yeah. Like one time I was doing a show in Florida, and there was this gorgeous black girl in the front. She had a boyfriend who was white, and I was flirting with her the whole time, and then I'm like, and then I was making up this bit. I go, I could just see this being a Dateline episode. Joey Medina, comedian, falls in love while he's on stage and kills. Like
God damn.
I did that whole thing, and then I did the interview my mom. I did my mom's voice. It went on for like maybe 8 minutes, but it was fucking hilarious.
That in the moment shit is my favorite.
Yeah.
It's in the moment and you're just going with it, it's like, God damn, this is fucking great.
But creative people can do that, man.
Yeah.
Because you never. It's always good to have a plan. It's always good to have what you're gonna do, but it's also good to be loose. Let me see how it goes. You know what I mean. Let me see how. And you got to do that in comedy. I think you should do that with acting. I think people do that in filmmaking, because if a script is great, but sometimes it doesn't. Somebody may say something better, right? Somebody, I didn't. In this film, Eric has he does a line. He says, "Yeah, man, that's the reason I'm in these streets doing these penitentiary chances." I didn't write that. He said that on set, and I'm like, I fucking love that. It's perfect. Good. I can't write black, but but I'm kidding, people. We're comedians. It's so funny because we use the N-word a lot. Right?
I mean, we motherfucker.
In the movie, my movie.
Did you write that in?
In my movie.
Did you hear yourself in that voice in your head while you were typing it up?
Funny thing, though, check this out. The funny thing is, we were rehearsing that, and it was hilarious because the characters are yelling it and everything, and I'm like, oh my god, man, it's so funny. And some people, because it was during COVID, the auditions were only on tape. So I didn't see anybody live until towards the end, and some actors didn't want to say it, so they were like, "Hey, you fucking N-word," and I'm like, they're doing that in the audition, they're saying N-word, and I'm fucking laughing. I'm like, oh my god, dude,
that's almost even worse.
Yeah, I'm like,
way worse.
I can't
you fucking N-word,
dumb N-word.
If you can't even act it, bro, then you got a problem.
But but it was funny how and it's so funny because Eric and Bill did something on a special thing where Bill, the white guy, he uses a black person to use the N-word for him, and it's funny because it was a really funny bit too, and all of a sudden now they're doing it almost in a dramatic version in my film.
Gotcha.
Weird, but yeah, it was really interesting. So that's one of the reasons why I had to make sure where I shot this was not in a place where a lot of people were, in a public place.
People get scared, homie. Man, bro, you're Puerto Rican, yes?
Yeah.
Now,
so we could use the N-word. Right. Dude, have you been to New York? Jesus Christ.
I don't know, Joey. We're very woke here at the Yo 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 podcast, and we're all about social justice. Actually, I have been to New York, and it is just full of mommies and poppies over there, bro. That's a different type of Latino. That's a whole different type of Latino, bro. Those are fucking lined up hairlines and motherfucking
eyebrows all done.
Oh, eyebrows are done up, and those poppies are ready to go, bro. They're just some dancing motherfuckers.
Oh yeah, dude. Without music, you think? Like you would think they had, even before iBuds were invented, you think they would have them because you see a Puerto Rican at a bus stop dancing, you're like, what the fuck's the music? There's no music.
It's in their soul, brother. It's in the soul. Are you a dancer?
You know what, dude? I'm not, man.
You're not.
I mean, I can.
Kind of goddamn Puerto Rican
I know,
N-word
I
are
know.
you?
I know. I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed. It's funny because I love salsa dancing. And when I'll go to a club and salsa is one of the only type of music where a guy won't mind, like, all right, honey, dance with that guy, because it's like it's an art form. It's beautiful. You're like, oh, fuck, that's fucking dope.
Yeah.
And you could be a bus boy. You could work at Payless Shoes. I'm not that if you do, that's not a bad job. I'm saying you could be like homeless, but if you're a good dancer on that night, man, every hot chick is gonna dance with you.
Everybody's gonna want you,
and everyone's gonna want to watch.
Yeah,
like
because it's really it's a true art form. The only thing I've seen close to that is swing dancing.
Yeah,
it's very similar. The music's different, but the dancing is similar.
I dated a Cuban many years ago. I've dated a few Cubans, but this particular Cuban, her mom was a phenomenal salsa dancer.
Oh, wow, nice.
And the dude that she was dating at the time, that her mom was dating at the time, I mean, they would they'd post up, they'd put a chair in the middle of the dance floor, and literally the dance floor would clear. Even if there was people, they'd get out of the way just to give respect to this performance. Yeah. And it's what it was. It was a performance. It wasn't like they were just out there spinning. No, the guy was he would sit down, she would dance around, she'd pick him up. They incorporated the chair. They did, and it was beautiful to watch. And I'd sit there like, God damn, I went out and started taking salsa lessons, right? And then I'm like, 1, 2, 3, 1, and I'm like, okay, I can't do this shit. And they're like, well, no, you have to do the pasos and the this and the that. Because to me, it almost looks like it's instinctive,
right.
And for a lot of people it is. But a lot of the professional dancers, they've taken classes and learned, and there's choreography. That's the word I'm looking for. There's choreography in it, and salsa is a beautiful dance to watch.
It is, but again, you said it looks natural. It's like us. What we do looks natural to someone who doesn't.
But it takes work.
Yeah, but it takes work to get to look natural.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So it doesn't look like it's an effort.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, I love salsa dancing, and every time I go to New York, I'll go to a club. Just to watch, man. It's fun.
Right.
You watch beautiful women dancing with these dudes dancing. I'm like, oh shit, I can't do any of that shit. It's like, it should be an Olympic sport, man.
Yeah, it's freaking amazing. I love it. I love the music. I love the dance moves. I'm not a dancer, bro. I got 2 left fucking feet.
I could do this all night.
Yeah. Just fake it.
Yeah.
Fake it till you fucking make it. What the hell, dude? What else you got going on, Joey Medina?
Just working on that. Hopefully, luckily the road's coming back again.
Yeah.
So that's happening, and just always working on different things. I'm going to check this out. I'm going to in November. I'm going to Costa Rica.
Have you been?
No, my first time. I'm excited, and I've decided that if I like it, I'm going to move there.
Stop.
I'm going to move there and I'll open up a comedy club there. I'm still going to do comedy. It's only 2 hours away from Florida, like by plane. But I'm like, you know what? Why not? I'm like you, 50s plus. I've done everything. I'm never going to stop doing comedy. I love comedy. I can do this forever. I want to.
What's holding you back in L.A.? What holds you to L.A.?
Really nothing.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, nothing. And the thing is this. I've learned, especially after COVID and all that, I just want to be happy. That's all I want. I want to be happy.
I love that.
And the thing is this. I can still be a filmmaker in another country. I could still do comedy in another country. I can have a comedy club there. I already looked and researched and figured that out. And it's actually a lot easier because I figured out some ins and outs. And, so I'm going to go for 2 weeks. We're going to have a good time. And fuck around. I'm going to a whole bunch of different cities. I've did a lot of research already.
You're going solo?
YouTube. No, I'm going with my girlfriend and some friends.
How does she feel about going to get in Puerto Rico? I'm in Puerto Rico.
No,
Costa Rica.
she's been dying to go, and she kind of wants to too.
Really?
And, yeah. So we're just gonna go and have a good time. I did a lot of research. It's a lot easier living, a lot cheaper living. They're green. It's a really good country. Nobody from Costa Rica is sneaking into America.
People go whitewater rafting over there quite a bit.
Yeah.
My bruja just got back from Costa Rica. She was out there with her mom, getting crystals and things, and loves it. Has gone quite a bit. Goes out there quite a bit.
And I love the beach. Like I live near Venice. I love the beach. Like yesterday I was in Venice. I'm like, I could live by the beach forever.
Yeah.
And Venice is crazy. Now imagine a beautiful place like Costa Rica by the beach. Right?
Without screaming people, bro, chasing you.
You know?
Yeah, and I got damn it. I said I was gonna stop calling her my bruja because people get scared, and they say, "What do you mean a bruja?" They get scared of bruja. So my spiritual advisor was just in Costa Rica.
No, but yeah, this is the thing. We are meant to be happy as human beings, and we're meant to grow and to learn and to do this. And let me tell you something.
You were meant to work for the 1%ers, goddammit. Get in fucking line, get your number, and fucking work.
I would say in the last couple of years, especially, I've, as a person, have changed a lot. Just like in 2 years, I was always that person, but it was always with the world's bullshit, kind of putting it down, and bad habits, and all of this, and then. It just, some shit happened, and I'm like, you know what, fuck it, I'm done. Like, it really was that easy. And I'm like, okay, and I feel better mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and it's like, all right, well, let's go somewhere. Let's go in a better direction, do something different.
You spend a big portion of your life, and it's not you personally, just we as humans spend a big chunk of our life trying to attain and do things that they told us we had to do, right. Or they told us to chase and this and that. And then you get to a certain point where you've chased all that, you've acquired all that, and you find yourself feeling depressed and empty. You're like, wait, I filled out all the goddamn check boxes. Right. I fucking dotted all the fucking I's and crossed all the T's. Why the fuck am I miserable? Right. Why the hell am I sad? Why am I empty? Because was it what you wanted, or was it what they told you wanted? Was it the programming of what you're supposed to do versus who you really are, what you really want? And when you start reflecting, and it happens when you get older and you start meditating and really, when you said you're in a place where you're happy spiritually, you're happy mentally, emotionally, it takes work to get to that, just like it takes work for everything else. But it's also so cleansing and so like, man, fuck this. Yeah, why right. was I chasing this goddamn bullshit and we think we want it and we get it. It's the funny thing is that the universe has a way of giving you what you want. Right. And then once you have it, you're like, is this really what I fucking wanted? Yeah. Now that I have it, in retrospect, maybe this isn't what the fuck I wanted. And then you do get to that place where you do start finding things that make you happy, that give you fulfillment, that make you content. And whether it's filmmaking, whether it's fucking cooking, whether it's food, whether it's fucking, whatever it is, to do it how you want to do it. I mean, look at how long it took Caitlyn Jenner to fucking say, fuck it, I want to dress in heels and a goddamn dress. Right. There's a lot of dudes out there there's a lot of dudes and women out there who are like, fuck, I like dick, and all this life I've been fucking pussy because it's what I was supposed to do. But I like pito, and all of a sudden they embrace the dick and they're happy as fuck. You know. You go. So I mean,
it's super true though. There's a lot of miserable people who, on paper, have everything that they originally
set out to get.
All their goals have, boom, just knocking them out the list. That then they're done with all the goals and they're miserable, sad.
I'll be honest. I'm probably the time in my life where financially I probably made more money than ever wasn't the happiest time of my life at all. Like, it was actually the most stressful. And, hopefully I have that stress again. I'll deal with it better. It just was stressful. It's like when I was doing a lot of money, when I had the radio show here in LA, and everybody was asking me, hey, you want to do my room? Want to do my room? Want to do my room? I didn't want to be the dick that said no, so I was saying yes. So I'm waking up at 4 a.m. I'm doing these gigs at 10, at 12, and fucking driving, almost crashing every fucking night, going to my house, and just because I'm like, this is just too much. But I didn't want to say no because then, oh, wow, you think
you're too good, eh?
So, you know what I mean? So it's just like, it sucked. So, so it just depends, man. And you don't, look, money is great, but it doesn't buy you happiness. You can rent it, but you can't buy it, right? And it's like, you never know, man. There's always ways to do the things, always ways. And as long as you're happy, that's all I give a shit about. And so, like I said, if I love Costa Rica and I dig it, I already know how I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna end up living there, and it's gonna be dope.
That's beautiful, man. I've been to Puerto Rico. Fucking loved it. Mm-hmm. I haven't been to the Dominican Republic, but
I've been there. It was nice.
Yeah.
Poor though, a lot of poor.
A lot of poor.
Yeah.
Well, Puerto Rico has a lot of poor too.
Yeah. but Dominican more. Like, because when I went there, I was 16. I was boxing. I had a fight there.
In the Dominican.
Yeah, in the Dominican Republic. And dude, it was fun. Like, they were asking us, the other boxers were asking us for like our clothes, like underwear, and I was like, oh fuck, I feel so bad.
You know what the difference is, dude? When you see poor kids.
Yeah.
That's the
When you see fucking 5-year-olds working.
that's when the like, oh, it's too poor, you know? Because Puerto Rico, there's no kids begging and stuff.
Right.
But
Dominican Republic, yeah. At least then.
What about Costa Rica?
You know what? Costa Rica, I'm sure. I think there's poverty everywhere, every country. But Costa Rica, from the countries in South America or Central America, it's actually one of the best. It's like the Switzerland of there. Like,
really,
nobody leaves there. It's
there's no caged
people going there.
Fucking Costa
no
Rican
kids in cages.
Yeah, no kids. They're really green. They've got no army. They've got no army.
No army.
No army. Everything is, everybody's happy. Their slogan is
Pura vida. Pura vida.
And there's a reason for it, because that's how people live there. And you could there's tons of videos on YouTube where people who live there are telling you, hey, you should come down. And then obviously, look, there's less crime than there is here, but there is crime. But it's usually crime that's opportunity crime, where if you leave your purse in there, someone's going to probably
Of
in your
course,
car,
but if you leave your purse in your car, you should get it robbed. You dumb fuck.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's just good living, right? And good people just living and being happy. And I'm like, again, I may go there and go, not for me. I'll plan something else. But hopefully not, and because a lot of people go there, and they got universal health care, which is great. They treat their people well. It's and it's not it's poverty. It's probably just the incomes are low and everything's like that. But I'm really excited to go, bro. It's gonna be dope. And there's a comedy club there. Hey, you guys have a place to work.
Fucking A, dude. That's fantastic. And you're right. After COVID, I think people really reevaluated their situation. There's an article I was reading, and there's many articles, not just one, about this theme, and it's called the Great Exodus or the Mass Exodus, and it's about people not returning to their jobs.
Oh yeah.
They're resigning and saying, "Fuck that," like they. There's people that are like, people just don't want to work. They've been given unemployment and they just turned them lazy. I don't think that's the case. No. I think that the reality is that I think people really had a time to reflect and say, wait a minute, what am I? I'm spending an hour on the road commuting, and then I'm going to a place for a paycheck. The thing sucks so bad they have to pay me to go. That now they found another hustle. During COVID, people were forced to either you shut down or you fucking figured out a way. And they figured out another way to hustle and how to pay the bills. And they also minimized their expenses. Right. They realized, I don't need this shit. I don't need that shit. What I do need is this. And to get this, all I need is this. Right. I don't need all that craziness. And I think that is a better way of living than chasing something that is quite frankly unattainable a lot of times, Yeah. And I think there's a lot of reevaluation being done now still, even now. You go and Google the Mass Exodus and it is just, the Great Resignation is called. It's what it's called. And there is just article upon article for the last few months. Almost every day there's a new article on this Great Resignation. And it's all the people that have not just been let go, but have voluntarily said, fuck you. I'm not going to this shit.
Well, people learn how to work from home.
Yeah.
Either your job let you or you did a different job that you worked from home. And that's what, then you realize, wait a second, why am I even at home if I can work from home? I'm going to go to the beach. I'm going to go to this country. I'm going to go on vacation. And still work. I can do what the fuck I want to do and still get paid.
Life is more than being a slave to something, dude. Oh, yeah. And that's I think that's the one positive I think that this pandemic did. It gave people time to reflect, know.
And as artists, I think we're that way. I mean,
absolutely.
We all do. And you brought it up earlier that, you paid or not, you're still going to do the gig, right? Same here. And I think a real comic or a real artist, anything, whether you're a painter, you're a drummer, I remember I once had a girlfriend that in the beginning of my career, where she was like, "You should just do it as a hobby." I'm like, "Don't you fucking dare say that! How dare you!" Fucking, it's like saying that, you know, you don't got a dick or something. It's like, "Don't you dare!" I'm like, you don't understand. It's not a hobby to me. It's like, this is my thing.
It's my life.
You can't tell a good musician, "Hey, don't play your instrument."
Yeah.
I'm like, "No, are you fucking kidding me? I'm always going to play this instrument, whether I get paid for it or not. I'm going to play it." Same thing with a comic. I mean, we unfortunately we can't just, you know, tell our jokes in our house, you know, but it's but we do it. We do good. You know, we've all probably done. You do a theater with 1,000, 2,000 people, and then you do a place with 12 people drunk, not paying attention. You know, vice versa. It happens all the time. You're in a fucking 5-star resort, and then you're in fucking Motel 6. It's just in the same week, you know. And it is what it is. But you live it, you appreciate it, and like I don't sweat the small stuff at all. As long as there's a mic that works, and if sometimes the mic don't even work, and you're like, "Let's do the fucking show." I don't care.
I've done some. I just started doing some more shows with Gabe recently, and you know he's out there doing, you know, these giant fucking 13,000 people, things like that, you know, and I go out there, you know, and there's these hills and valleys of comedy, and you know, the one thing that I do realize is you know, and again, perspective is everything, you know. When I first started this journey called comedy. I started later on in life. I wasn't a young man. I was 30 years old when I started, and which is for a comedian that's considered starting late. Right. I would say, you know, I caught a lot of breaks. And fortunately, when I started, the playing field wasn't that vast, so it was easy to meet everybody that was in the game. You know, you started doing comedy and you were brown. You were going to meet the biggest wigs in the game within a few. You know, they were always at Wild Coyote or at, you know, one of the shows out there. And so, you know, when I think back about when I started going on the road, because you start off as a comic and you're like, "Fuck, I want to go on the road." You just hear about the road and you don't know what the road. You don't even know what the road is. You just hear the road and you just. It's this motherfuckers drive to Visalia. I'm going on the road, you know, and which it is, you know, but there's this so much mystery. It's shrouded in so much mystery of what's the unknown of the road, of the this, of the that, and then it's like, oh, and then I want to get a TV credit, and then I want to blow up, and then I want to do this, and I want to do that, and then I remember we were doing a small club out in Denver called Comedy Works. And I remember being there, and I remember somebody saying, "Enjoy the ride," you know. And you hear that all the time. You hear "enjoy the ride" so much; it's become almost like a
cliche.
Yeah, this cliche that you just kind of throw away. Like, you know, it's like the saying, "Burning the candle at both." You're burning the candle at both ends. Well, if you have a wick here and you have a wick there, that means that shit's gonna die quick. You know. So same thing with you. But when they said "enjoy the ride," you're always doing something, waiting to get to this or waiting to get to that or waiting for this to happen. But the reality is that this is it. This is it. This moment is it. Right. And when you realize, 20 years later, you look back and you're like, my God, that ride was the life. That ride was incredible.
That was it.
That was it. Like, there was nothing that you should have been waiting to achieve or waiting to get to. You should, you know, there's a great saying, a man's grasp should always exceed his reach. Otherwise, what's a heaven for? And I really believe that. Yeah. But by the same token, you need to enjoy that moment. And that ride is that moment. That ride is so beautiful. And unfortunately for a lot of people, they don't appreciate it until the ride is almost at the end, right? And the beautiful loops that it takes to get there, the ups and the downs and the pain and the laughter and the hangovers and the itchy crotch, all of that is beautiful, you know.
And you know the way to do that, and you're right, you're 100% right, is to be thankful every day. Like, everybody has their own thing. I do my own kind of prayer at night, but one of the things I always do is give thanks. Give thanks for this, give thanks for that, give thanks for this, and thank. I'm very thankful because that makes you appreciate things, and that makes you enjoy the ride, right? And it's like, to me, that's why, like, when I'm on the road, I always take somebody that I love hanging out with because I want to enjoy the ride with that person. It's not about work. Going to the show is that's the easy part. That's the automatic pilot. I'm gonna do the show and then we're done, right? And I just want to have good conversations on the way there. I want to hang out. I want to have fun. I want to meet new people. I want to, to me, that's the whole thing. And like my career has been up and down, right? And it's always better when things are up. But I appreciate the downs too, because I learned and met other people during those downs.
Yeah.
And it always taught me and made me wiser and made me smarter.
And grateful.
And grateful. And the thing is, now I know I'll go in this position. And I learned about people. And you know when I first learned this lesson, it wasn't even comedy, it was in boxing. I was undefeated. I think it was like 9-0. And
humble brag.
Yeah. I was 9-0. It was like 7 or 8 knockouts.
What a goddamn flex that was, right? So I'm 9-0 and I'm reflecting.
I knocked everybody. So
been more.
Everybody after the fight would be in the dressing room, right? Hey, Joey, taking pictures and Polaroids at the time. And then I lose a fight. My 10th fight where I lose. I walk in the dressing room, turn around, nobody was there. Not even my trainer. Like nobody was there. I was by my fucking self. And at first I was like, and then I went, I get it. Everybody just wants to be with the winner. And I never forgot that lesson. So I did what I did after every fight. I called my mom. And my mom was like, hey, honey, did you win? I'm like, no, I lost. She goes, that's okay. I'm like, you're right. That is okay. And that was it. And I've always remembered that, dude. I always remember that in show business. I remember when things were really hot and everybody's who wouldn't even talk to you now kissing your ass, and then all of a sudden I always remember that. I'm always nice to people, I'm always good to people, but I always know who is who, you know what I mean? Because that's all you got, right? You gotta be like Santa Claus, you gotta have a list, who's been naughty and who's been nice. But then there's times people are assholes when they shouldn't be, and then they're really not that way. And the times where someone's all of a sudden nice, you're like, what the fuck's wrong with this motherfucker, right? And then it's just like, but
I'd rather deal with asshole than fake nice.
yeah, me too.
Oh, dude.
Like
Day.
okay, like I'm not gonna. I don't ever like talking about anybody behind their backs, but I want to say one positive thing. No, I mean I do like with friends, but not like in public.
Sure.
But like George Lopez always had a thing about him that he was, he wasn't the sweetest guy in the world, right? But at least he was honest.
Sure.
What I loved about George was, if he didn't like you, you knew it. He was always honest. I would never think if he was nice to me, oh fuck, okay, what does he want?
Sure.
Or he was an honest dude, and that's what I always said about him. I go, there's other people I've worked with that I'm like, you know what I mean? Like he's in a good mood today, but how about tomorrow? And but not with George. George, he was always decent to me. I don't have any complaints about him, but that's what people would say. But I always tell them, I go, he's on. Like Willie Barcena, same thing. Willie.
You know what you're getting with Willie.
You know what he's
yep.
Willie is Willie.
Yep.
Willie and
Willie's
Willie has the hugest heart. People are like, no. I'm like, he does. Willie Barcena
bro,
has the biggest heart in the world.
I still drink with Willie every once in a while, and people will say, you're a fucking lunatic. And I'm like, no. I'm not a lunatic, because I think there's a mutual respect there. Like, I know what Willie, look, has Willie done horrible things? Absolutely. Yeah. And people are like, well, how could you hang out with him? He did this to so-and-so, and he did this to so. I'm like, okay, wait. Yeah. He did. But you know what? As a human being, as a man, we've all fucked up. We've all made mistakes. And I've said this to Willie in the past. I've said, hey, bro, you didn't burn bridges. People say that you fucking torched them so that they could not even be rebuilt. Like, and he knows that, and I would say that to him.
Cartoons with the fucking dynamite.
Yeah, he's like fucking Wile E. Coyote blowing shit up, right? And look, but by the same token, it's like, hey man, I'm not a perfect human being. For me to sit here and be casting stones at somebody because he's done whatever, Willie has done what he's done because the tools that he had available to him weren't as vast as somebody else's tool chest, Right. He came from a crazy childhood. He came from, and I'm not here to blast Willie's life or whatever, but I'm not gonna sit. The fact is, the guy makes an attempt to be a better person every day.
Always.
Whether he achieves it or not, he makes that attempt. And when somebody's making an attempt to do and be better, I'm gonna be there high-fiving you, man. Right. I'm not, if somebody just says, fuck it, I'm an asshole, I'm just gonna stay an asshole. Whether you do asshole things, as long as you're trying to be better.
Even when, the funny thing is, even when he's being an asshole, he's trying to do the right thing.
Correct.
He's just correct. He is.
I look at this. No diss. This is not a diss.
It couldn't be more true.
Yes.
Right. That even when he's at the most asshole point in his head, he's thinking he's doing it for the good, for the better.
Right.
I'll tell you what, man. One time, Willie, no, this is a good one.
Fuck
dude,
you, bro.
I got a flat in Palmdale, and that motherfucker drove all the way to Palmdale, gave me money to buy another tire, and then drove back home by himself, and I went back, and I drove. That was Willie, and we weren't even super tight at the time. This was like in the beginning when I first moved to L.A. Willie's a good fucking dude. He's most honest dude, most upfront dude you're ever gonna meet.
Hey, tell him, bro.
Yeah, hey, bro. No, I love Willie. Oh, I'm gonna give you a Willie story real quick. So, this is when he watched my movie Missing. We meet at a Mexican restaurant, right? I think I could tell the story. So, he's got a book about anger management. He goes, yeah, I'm reading this book, man.
I love it.
This, that, and I'm like, cool. So I get my laptop. We had lunch. We're talking. He's got the headset on. He's watching the movie. And he's like this, right? And then there's some dude walking around like the tables and everything. But he's on the phone going, yeah. So okay, yeah. And Willie's looking up. Keeps looking at him. Fuck, guys, he's loud, listening. And I guess they caught eye. Fucking Willie jumped the fuck up. They start yelling at each other like this. I'm like, what the fuck just happened, right? Fucking manager came in, and I'm like, I got Willie's back. I'm like, this dude, man, it's got to go. This guy. So they fucking kicked that dude out. So I go, Willie, so tell me about that anger management. It was fucking hilarious. It was perfect. It was just perfect.
Oh my God. and here's the thing. He's reading the book.
Right.
He's doing the work.
Exactly.
Whether and it's, listen, you've got a lifetime of trauma, and not making excuses for anybody. But when you have a lifetime of things, it's going to take another lifetime to unprogram it. And as long as you're doing the work to be better, you've got my respect as a man. Yeah. And that's it.
Willie's one of those guys that I would drop anything for if he needed me. I'm like there, because I think that's how guys are. Girls are maybe a little different, but guys are like, we don't
so
have to
toxic.
Yeah, right? No, but guys, we don't have to see each other every fucking day to know we got each other's back.
Sure.
Right? Yeah. There's certain people you're like, oh, when the phone rings, I pick it up. And then there's other people like we avoid. But Willie's one of those guys that I went through some crap not too long ago, and one of the first people that called me was Willie. And I haven't talked to Willie before that for a little bit. So Willie is a fucking great guy. I'll do anything for him, drop the hat. Like, I can't wait to really direct real, like, stuff and big things, because I have a list in my mind of people who I want to help, because I know that they deserve it, that they've paid their dues so much, and they've, Willie's paid so many dues, and he's done well, but again, he's made mistakes, and but who hasn't, right? Who hasn't?
Sure. It's correct. And that's the thing. I think that people are so quick to judge and point out the mistakes as if they're perfect. And it's like, man, you got to be careful whose mistakes you're pointing out, because you're not always going to be, it's hard, especially in today's day and age, man. Yeah. In today's day and age, like,
fools will search that closet, dude.
Oh my God, dude! And boy, do we have closets, and so I think it's don't be so quick to judge, and be quicker to understand and forgive, and it doesn't mean that get trampled and get abused and shit like that. But by the same token, man, we need to be more understanding as a whole.
And people. Dude, there are people, I see people out there on Instagram, and not so much Instagram, Facebook or whatever, and I'm not going to mention names, but they're like, all they do is gossip like little bitches, and all they want to do is talk shit about this person, talk shit about that person, talk shit about like all of us, like they're the fuck, like they're fucking at the pearly gates of heaven, fucking judging everyone. I'm like, in my mind, I'm going, this motherfucker, really?
Yeah.
And I'm like, matter of fact, that's another person on the purge list I'm putting. But No, but the thing is like, and then and it's funny when people judge you, they always know, they swear they know exactly what the fuck they're talking about. I'm like, motherfucker, you don't know me,
right?
You don't know him, you don't know who the fuck you're talking about. Like, really? Just because you want to sound good, you want to sound fucking relevant or whatever? Shut the fuck up, man. Like, look, I don't judge. I have opinions. With me and my friends, we'll have conversations, but I never try to judge publicly. I never try to say anything publicly. If something slips, I'll take the blame. I go, yep, I fucked up. I'm sorry. I said that. I shouldn't have said that, or vice versa, whatever. But man, look, nobody's perfect. Life is crazy. What one person's life, what they do, that's their life. And just mind your own fucking business.
We all have a path. We all have a lane. And we all have a choice.
Yeah.
And we can continue to make the same mistakes and keep fucking up, and you're going to keep getting the same shit. Or you can evolve, grow, learn. And I think that's the goal for all of us, is just to evolve as humans. We're not, you're not the same person that you were yesterday. I'm not the same person I was yesterday. None of us are. Willie isn't. And again, it just takes time, and we need to be more passionate, more understanding. Let's get back to the movie stuff here, Joey. Okay. We were talking about all the different, like the first one you did was comedy, probably because you're a comedian. You said, fuck it, let's write this comedy. Out of all the genres that are out there, what's your favorite? And I think, what's your favorite? Why is it your favorite? And everything always evolves, right? Where do you see film going?
My favorite for me is always drama, and it's only because out of all the genres, it's what makes you feel something. Comedies, if they make you laugh, you're feeling something, but it's kind of like it's kind of like frosting, right? Drama is like the cake, right? It makes you like, oh, fuck, that's deep, or, that's whatever. And some drama sucks, but horror movies are great too, but that's frosting. It scared me. It freaked me out a little bit. It didn't make you, you know what I mean? But drama, I love drama. Now, I'll direct anything, and I think that I'm the kind of filmmaker that I can write, produce, direct any genre.
But drama, sure.
But drama, I love. Like, I'm writing a I think I don't know if I told you now, but I don't want to mention the name yet. But I'm writing a really funny comedy now, and I can't wait to really do this, because this is one of those films where people say, you can't make that now. You can't do that now. You can't make All in the Family now. You can't make Blazing Saddles now. Well, this is that fucking movie that you can't make now to the 10th power. And I'm gonna.
How do you feel about Blazing Saddles?
Okay, I liked it a lot. It wasn't my favorite Mel Brooks. My favorite Mel Brooks is probably History of the World. I think that was fucking brilliant. And it wasn't, they use the N-word, but it was the gag. That was the gag. It was the gag of the bit. So I'm like, okay, cool. I watched it not too long ago, and I enjoyed it. I liked it. It wasn't, to me, I didn't feel it as the epic film that everyone says it is.
I think it is one of the greatest films in history.
No, I think it was it's one of the best comedies. I don't think.
I'll tell you why.
Well, did you see? Have you seen History of the World?
I have not.
Oh, bro, you'll love History of the World.
So now, and the reason I say that about Blazing Saddles is because recently I saw a really informative analysis of the movie.
Okay.
And the basic premise was, people always say and this is the only reason I remember this, because you said you can't make it today, right?
Right.
You couldn't make Blazing Saddles today,
right?
And what the guy said, that shouldn't be the phrase. It should be, why would you make it today? It's unnecessary. It was very necessary at the time to make it, and what it was at the time. There was a shit ton of Western movies and shows. There was only X amount of stations on television, right, but every single station had X amount of Westerns on it. And the Western had the hero in the white hat who stopped the bad guys. And it was very watered down version of what the West was.
Right.
And they always had the this and they had the that. And they never had any racism, and they never had any this, and it was always,
unless you were an Indian, then there was a lot of racism.
Correct, but it was this candy coated fake world of what the cowboy was,
right?
and it was a huge moneymaker for Hollywood. It was a cash cow for Hollywood. And what Mel Brooks did is he came and shit on that genre. Right. He exposed it for how bullshit it was, how for the hypocrisy of it.
Mel Brooks is a genius.
And he and they hated him not so much because of the N-word and everything else that was in there, but because he shot that cash cow in the head. That's good. After that, those movies were not, and the numbers of the shows that were out there and the money that they were generating for Hollywood was astronomical. They begged him not to do it. Right. And after that movie, you could not see a Western again without thinking about this. And he exposed the ridiculousness and the hypocrisy of all those shows, and literally shot a cash cow in the head. I'll send you the clip because it's really brilliant, and it'll give you a different perspective on that movie.
You're really gonna love then History of the World, Part 1. Mm-hmm. It's fucking brilliant. It's like Blazing Saddles, except I think up a notch.
Sure.
You know, even with racism and with homophobia, like it's fucking hilarious.
Wow.
And I think this is what I tell people. I think Blazing Saddles was a prototype for History of the World. Part 1, because he really hits it with Blazing Saddles. It was like, okay, all the N-word usage was, to me, was just a gag. It was a gag, right? It was good and it was well done. I love the movie. But then when it comes to History of the World, he took it up another notch. And it was really well done. So
I'm really curious to see. I really want to check it out. And again, I'd always enjoyed Blazing Saddles. I rewatched it after watching that clip, and I just had a whole different perspective. It was like a mind shift. It was like a paradigm shift. Like completely mind fucked me. Andale.
Sorry.
That's a hell of a fucking ringtone.
I was trying to turn it, so I was trying to turn it off. And
but again, it really just made me get a whole different perspective and appreciation for Mel Brooks. Not that the guy's a genius.
Well, I would love to meet him. He's one of the people that I would love to meet before he passes, man. Because I think him and oh fuck, never mind then. Paul Newhart. I'd love to meet Paul Newhart.
Paul Newhart.
Yeah.
Wow.
And but yeah, so it's that. So that's the kind of film I want to write now, because I liked the way what you said. It was like, but why would you make it now? And the reason I want to make this is because we should be. I can't understand how people can't take a fucking joke. I really don't. It freaks me fucking out.
Yeah.
When they go, oh, this comedian did a gay joke. Yeah, and what happened? You know, I tell people fucking words are like fucking blanks, man. They sound big, but they don't fucking hurt nobody, right?
Right.
Unless you're fucking Bruce Lee's son, whatever. But it's like, it's like it doesn't. It's like it's just fucking blanks.
Rest in peace, Brandon Lee.
Yes, Brandon Lee. But it's just, and it's like, so this film that I'm writing has every stereotype you could think of. It has everything, and the jokes are stupid, and it's kind of like I'm gonna get you, sucker. Kind of like Airplane. You know, there's parody, there's this, there's
slapstick.
That. Yeah, a lot of slapstick. And it's just anything I thought that was funny and stupid, I'm throwing in there. And yes, there's racism. Yes, there's this, and there's but it's a fucking joke, man. You know, and it's people just get too offended nowadays, and I just think that's like
there's nothing funny about racism, Joey.
Yes, no, I know, especially
where have you been, Joey? It's 2021, you fuck.
No, but the thing is, like,
you're not woke.
I know. I got to.
Hooter, let's go march.
No. Yeah, the thing is, like, I'm a huge liberal. I'm a big liberal. I'm a Democrat, but I hate political correctness. I just think it's ridiculous. Everybody gets offended by everything now. It's like, you can't do that. I'm like, come on, man. How about the intention, right? It's like I tell people this. I go, if somebody tells you good morning, you like, oh, hi, good morning. Mm-hmm. If somebody goes, good morning, you're like, what the fuck you mean good morning, right? Because what's the intention behind it, man? You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't care. Like,
my fucking dog died today. Why is it a good morning, you motherfucker? Yeah, how do you assume? Why do you assume I'm having a good morning? I'm having the shittiest morning of my life. How dare you tell me good morning? How dare you rub it in that you're having a good morning?
You talk about how you're an evil fucking person.
This guy's assuming that everybody's having a good fucking morning. Fuck this guy.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. It's like, Joey, thank you for coming in. It's always awesome. It's always a pleasure having you, dude. Congratulations. Let's again tell everybody again they can go to Pasadena to watch your
Monday, September 13th at 6 p.m.
Beautiful Violence.
That's right. Beautiful Violence is the name of the movie. So you can see a bunch of short films during the time that's there, and there'll be a question and answer, so you can meet me and meet everybody else who's going to be there, and come out and enjoy it. Let me know, and if you liked it, let me know. If you didn't like it, let me know too.
Beautiful. And then keep up with Joey Medina on his social medias.
That's right, Joey Medina. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No. And he'll keep you posted when it's out and available. If you can't make it to the hopefully you can make it to the theater on the 13th. But if you can't, it'll be available online at some point, I'm guessing.
Yeah, after all the festivals. So hopefully we'll have more festivals in LA.
For sure.
But this one is for sure, and it's the world premiere because it's the first film festival that it's going to be airing in. So I'm really excited about that.
Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of the Yo podcast with Martin and Hooter. Hit us with the rate and review. Hit us with share us. Stay blessed. Satarakata Shanda. And many fucking tapatios to you.
Good morning and peace.
I think I can overdrive it just a little bit.